Hi girlies, welcome back to my channel. I have a super exciting video for you guys today because it's going to be comparing two stunning bags from two powerhouse luxury houses. I am going to be comparing the ever so popular Chanel mini flap with the new and upcoming Dior djoy in the small size. Both of these bags are absolute favorites in my collection, but I did just want to give you a rundown of the pros and cons, ways to wear, and just generally my honest thoughts and opinions on which bag is best. So for those of you looking for your next perfect mini bag, this video is definitely for you. Okay, we're gonna jump right into the comparison, but before we do, hi, I'm Somidoshoppers. I make videos once or twice a week on luxury and fashion. I love taking you guys around SF with me, sharing my life, sharing my purchases, so if you love all those kinds of things, please make sure you're subscribed so you do not miss out. So the first thing that I'm going to talk about is general specs for each bag, and we're going to start off with the Chanel mini flap. So to give you a quick view of the exterior, we have that ever so classic flap with the Chanel CC turn lock. On the back, every classic flap from Chanel, whatever size it may be, also comes with a back pocket here for kind of just easy grab and go access. The chain here is made of woven leather and metal, so it fits very comfortably on the shoulders. And then inside, as it's the mini size, it's very, very simple. It only has a zip back pocket, and then right in front, it also has an additional just slip pocket. And I don't know if you could actually tell, but inside of my mini flap and generally all my bags, I have a base shaper in them. So before I go into any more detail about both the mini flap and the djoy, I did want to give a quick shout out to today's sponsor, which is Boutique. So because of the nature of a shoulder bag, whether it be a Chanel mini flap or the Dior djoy, we tend to press these bags against our body and our arm when being worn on the shoulder, and that can generally misshape a bag over time. However, using a base shaper can help maintain and preserve a bag's shape while being undetectable to both me as the user as well as the exterior of anyone looking onto the bag. If I just pull out the base shaper from my Chanel flap here, you can see that all of their base shapers come with a portion that is lined directly against the bottom of the bag, and they also include wings that help preserve the shape of the sides of the bags as well as protect the interior of the bag. So these wings have been particularly helpful for me with especially my new Chanel lotion. So you can see that it has really hard edges from the aluminum that it's made out of. So the wings of the base shaper help protect the edges of my bag, as well as keys can also do the same. So if you look inside my bag, when I remove the base shaper, the interior of my mini flap is absolutely pristine. There's no marks and no scratches because I've been using this base shaper for several months now, and it completely protects the interior of my bag. Another thing that I absolutely love about Boutique is that they are so meticulous whenever they make a shaper. So whenever they release a new one, they make sure to have that bag on hand to make sure that the shaper they produce has a perfect seamless fit. They're currently expanding their shaper line to include more Dior bags, and they even graciously fast-tracked this one for me, which is for the small djoy, because I had personally reached out and requested it because I absolutely love their shapers. I was so amazed because when I requested this, they actually went out and bought the exact same bag that I have, so the small djoy in the latte color, just so they could guarantee a perfect fit for the shaper. They come neatly packaged like this, and they use premium faux leather that is so soft yet structured to provide support to your bag without ever damaging the interior with marks or indents. Boutique carries the largest selection of handbag brands and styles I've ever seen of any shaper company, so it's likely you'll find the shaper that you're looking for, but I'm sure we also all have a bag here and there that's vintage or very unique and special to us. Boutique can also work with you to make a custom-made shaper to your exact specifications with no upcharge. All their pieces are handmade, well crafted, and affordable, and I think they're well worth the small investment to protect your bag forever. I use their shapers in so many of my bags. I use it in my Goyard tote, my Le Champ bag, my mini Evelyn, my Chanel wallet on chain, to just name a few more. And the beauty of a base shaper is that you buy it once, you pop it in, and you really never have to think about it again. But a year or even several years down the line, you're really going to notice a difference in structure of your bag. The more you wear leather, the more it's going to soften, and that's just how leather works. Naturally, as leather softens, it's going to lose a little bit of shape, but using a preventative measure like a base shaper is going to keep your bag looking like new even 10 years down the line. I highly recommend you go check out Boutique's website. They have such an expansive collection, and the people who run it are so lovely and friendly to talk to. This is my second collaboration with Boutique. I'm going to link above another video that I did with them showing all the different ways that I use to protect my leather bags. I love working with brands that are always constantly trying to improve their product. This is the first shaper that I received from them. It has a beautiful soft touch, almost like Togo leather, but their newest one that they sent me has their logo printed on here. It's super cute, and I feel like their product is even better than ever. Again, I think with any bag you buy, buying a shaper to go along with it should be a no-brainer to protect the interior of your bag and the exterior shape. I will leave all of Boutique's information in the description box below. please go check them out. Continuing on with the general sizing of the mini flap measures 4.7 in height, 7.8 inches across, and 2.3 inches in depth. It has a strap length of about 44 inches, and that means that the strap drop is around 22 inches. And I would say it's a pretty light bag. It doesn't really have too much weight to it. Moving on to this adorable djoy, I'll first give a general overview of the exterior of the bag. So here you can see that the djoy comes with 2 handles. The handles can drop all the way down to become flush with the bag. It has the very classic Dior charm here, as well as the very classic kind of canage stitching print. It has no pockets on the exterior. It's just pretty uniform without. And then to access the interior of the bag, there is this magnetic flap closure that you can just hook your fingers under to pull upwards. So you can see that there are 2 magnets that kind of hold the flap in place. Inside, the bag is lined with suede, unlike the Chanel mini flap that was lined in leather, and there is only 1 singular back pocket on the interior, whereas the Chanel mini flap had 2 pockets. Again, you can see that I'm using my M Boutique base shaper, and I think it's particularly important to use the shaper with a bag like this that's lined with suede, because suede can get dirty very easily. It can get dust attached to it that's very hard to clean, so using a shaper that protects both the bottom as well as portions of the side is going to be really important for me to protect the interior of my bag. So the dimensions of the djoy are very, very similar to the Chanel mini flap. It is 8.5 inches across, 4.5 inches in height, and then 2.5 inches in depth. The djoy is quite special because it actually comes with 2 detachable straps. It first comes with this beautiful shoulder strap that comes with these champagne gold links, as well as just a fully leather portion that rests very comfortably on the shoulders. And then it also does come with a fully leather crossbody strap that's adjustable. You can see that you can adjust it slightly here. The crossbody strap length for the djoy is about 43.5 inches to 47 inches, depending on how you adjust it, and then that translates to roughly about a 22 to 23 inch strap drop length. Because the djoy has handles, it has hardwares, it has charms, it's definitely a bit more of a heavy bag. On the website it said that it was approximately 500 grams. Now that we've got the general introductions out of the way, let's talk about price, which again makes these bags so similar because they're both priced currently at $4,900 pre-tax. Now I have heard rumors for a price increase for Chanel. I've also heard price increases for the djoy, but generally these bags have always kind of been on par in terms of price. So even before the 2023 price increases for both Chanel and Dior, I believe they were still sitting at around the same price, which was around $4,300, and then they both went up to $4,900. I have heard that the rumor for Chanel for 2024, the mini flap will go up to around $5,450, I believe. So if you are considering getting one of these bags, it definitely might be better to do it sooner than later. Okay, now I'm just going to show you what fits in both the Chanel mini flap and the djoy. I suspect it's going to be very, very similar. To start off with is my phone. I have just the 15 Pro. Tide to go pen. I'm messy. Hand cream. Current card holder. It's pretty bulky, so I often switch just between a regular card holder if I'm using a mini bag. Key pouch with my car keys. Lipstick. Tissues. Compact mirror, and eye drops. She is full but not bulging, and that's how much fits. I'm gonna try to fit the same amount into the djoy, lifting her up. So she is a little bit more narrow, I think, in width. So firstly, phone, Tide pen, lotion, card holder, tissues, lipstick, mirror, eye drops, key pouch. Key pouch is a little tough for sure, but she fits. Closing her up. She doesn't close very easily, so let me just try taking out the key pouch. Okay, and now she closes just normally. So I'll have to say that I think that the Chanel mini flap does fit just a little bit more than the djoy. So I'm going to start with the Chanel mini flap and all the ways that I like to wear this bag. So currently I'm using my chain link shortener to shorten the strap to make it a comfortable shoulder bag. So this is kind of the way that I wear it normally. It just sits really comfortably, kind of hitting right at my waist point. And this is just allowing me to kind of just be a little bit more mindful of what my bag is rubbing against, because I think typically the pants that I wear will have a little bit more of an abrasive fabric than the top that I'm wearing. But this is the shoulder bag. And this is the strap drop without any alterations to the strap length with a chain shortener. So this is exactly how the bag's gonna look like when you get it from the boutique. I am 5'7", and I think it hits pretty comfortably. I would say maybe it's a little bit low for my taste. I would probably want my crossbody to hit a little bit more up here. But again, using that chain link shortener, it's super easy to get your desired length. And then I've also seen people transition their mini flap into a cute little top handle. Again, just using that little link that I showed before. It can honestly be worn in any way you want. It's a super versatile bag, and in the color black specifically, it can really just go with anything. Here is my lovely, lovely djoy in the latte colorway. I typically just wear this top handle. Again, because it's white, I think I just prefer to wear my lighter color bags as top handle. So this is kind of what it just looks like against my body. All my measurements will also be down below as well if you're curious. I was really debating between getting the small and the medium because the medium is a little bit more of a practical size, but I think that the small is so cute and it's definitely the most proportional of all the sizes that they offer. So this is the size that I ended up going with. This is the bag as the shoulder bag. I also like to wear it like this a lot. I will have to say, although the tulle protects the top handle, it looks a little less clean than when it's not wrapped. The handles, when they come down without a tulle, look really, really clean, and I do enjoy that look, but generally because I wear a top handle, I do just keep my tulle on there. But the drop is really nice. It hits a little bit higher than the Chanel shoulder length that I showed you. But again, it's super cute. The chain just glistens with the champagne gold and very comfortable to wear. This is the djoy with the shoulder strap on the default size. So this is just in the hole right in the middle of the strap when the bag comes with you. Again, I'm 5'7". It hits probably around the same as the Chanel mini flap does, just slightly higher, I think maybe. But again, I think using this all leather crossbody just gives it a much more casual feel, and I think it's super cute. You can also place your straps such that your handles stay up. So before I had placed them on the little hooks here where the shoulder strap goes, but now I've placed them in front of the handles on these handle loops so that the handles stay up when I wear that. And I think especially if you are going to keep your tulle on it and you want to use it as a crossbody bag, I think this way to wear it is super, super nice. All the straps give such a different vibe for the bag. They're all wonderful and beautiful ways to wear them. So I really love the versatility of the djoy. So now I'm going to quickly talk about the cons for each bag. I'm going to start with the Chanel Mini, and honestly, I've had a great time using this bag. I really have no huge complaints against it. I would say the only one thing that's a little bit annoying is that the chain length is pretty much fixed, right? It's a crossbody strap. Unlike the small and the medium Chanel classic flaps, there's not like a double grommet where you can kind of pull the chain up to naturally become a shoulder bag. However, as long as you ask your Chanel SA, or even you can buy them on Amazon, for these little chain link shorteners here, you can essentially make any length strap that you want. So that's the only thing. However, using this chain link shortener does cause like your excess strap to kind of fit into your bag. That might somehow cause damage to like the back portion of your bag, but generally I've had no issues using my chain strap shortener, and I typically always wear my Chanel as a shoulder bag instead of a crossbody. Additionally, I think this is a sentiment shared by many people, but a lot of people are concerned generally about the quality of Chanel. Like, is the quality of Chanel really worth it, the price that you're paying for it? Even before I got this mini flap, which I think is fairly perfect and I absolutely love, I actually had like 3 mini flaps that had defects on them before I was able to get my hands on this one. There was kind of a whole story around my birthday time last year, but essentially the TLDR was like pretty much 3 flaps came into the store, one after the other, with a span of maybe 1.5 months. Each flap was allocated to me because the previous flap had an issue, and even the one right before getting this one, the entire CC turn lock just fell off of the bag after I had brought it home. So I had to take it back to the store, return it, and again wait for the next one. So far everything's been good, but I think there is just like a little bit of a worry in everyone's mind that the bag that you get might, you know, look okay in the store, but when you get it and you use it and you love it, it might start to slowly show signs of wear much more quickly than it should. So that's just something to think about. But again, personally for me, I've really had no complaints from my mini flap. Now for the Lady djoy, And this is kind of particular to the color that I got it, which is the latte. There are a couple things that I've noticed that annoy me a little bit for sure. So for this bag style, the handles will constantly move up and down because if you're pulling it off your bag and you're changing it to a top handle, it's going to be pressing flush against the sides of your bag. And the hardware here that attaches the handles to the bag are constantly rubbing against the white lambskin. And Dior has an ongoing problem. This is not just specific to my djoy, but also other bags that I have that have hardware that makes direct contact with the lambskin, is that it will discolor the bag. So I'll show some pictures if I can, but basically, even though I haven't had this bag for very long and I've been using it relatively carefully, I'm not like babying it or anything, and you can see signs of wear for sure, but very easily as these kind of little loops rub against the lambskin, it turns the entire area that it touches black. And it's bad to look at, but it's also easily cleanable. So I use just the Cadillac leather lotion, and you just do one wipe and it's gone. But you have to kind of do that for every wear. So if that's something that you're kind of sensitive to, you don't like having any kind of color transfer or color discoloration on your bag, then I would definitely not recommend getting the latte color. For me, I think it's still like not noticeable enough where I don't really care. And again, I got a white bag knowing that the white bag is just a little bit more prone to getting dirty. And I have all the tools at my disposal to safely clean my bag. So even though I told you about the problem, like you can't actually really see it at this point because right before shooting this video, I did just give it a quick wipe down. But that's just something to consider. If you're getting the djoy, I would have to recommend just getting it in a darker color just so you don't have to kind of deal with that all the time. Even the charm here, if the charm kind of, if the R, for example, goes behind the O, which has this little bit of leather protection here, then the R rubbing against the back of the lambskin behind the charm can actually discolor the threads, discolor the leather. So again, you just have to be kind of on top of cleaning your bag. And if that's not something that you want to actively do, then yeah, the lighter colors are just not for you. Another thing that's not a deal breaker or anything, but just something that would have been nice is that the bag does not have feet, right? Neither does the Chanel mini flap. The Chanel mini does not have feet, but for a bag that's top handled, typically I feel like it's kind of expected that you'll have feet on the bag. I know that the djoy is very much a shoulder bag style, and that's most likely why they didn't include feet, but it would just be like a nice to have. It's not a need to have, but having feet, especially for a light colored bag like this, would have been great. And then going back and just reiterating that point that I had, the interior of the bag is lined with suede. So while the bottom of my bag and the sides of my bag are protected by my M Boutique shaper, what's not really protected is the suede underneath this flap portion. So as you're continually hooking your fingers under the flap and pulling it up, if your fingers have any amount of dirt or anything on them, this flap portion is going to get really dirty really fast. So I've generally been careful, so you can see that the flap pretty much still looks clean for me, and I've tried to use this bag as much as possible this month, but that's just something to consider. The mini flap has leather lines, so it's a little bit more easy to clean if anything does kind of get into the interior of the bag, but for suede, kind of once it gets dirty, like that's it for you. There's really no chance of cleaning suede very well, especially light colored suede like this. I do have suede erasers and suede cleaners that I have on hand just in case something does go in here, but generally my experience with cleaning suede, for example on shoes or other bags, hasn't really been successful. So something to keep into account. If you're generally a messy person or the things you put inside your bag are messy, you might want to keep your shaper in there, but also get an insert or something like that. And then the last thing is just another wear and tear of this bag. Like generally I feel that the djoy wears a little bit worse than the mini flap just because these handles, when they press flush against the bag, this handle can put a lot of pressure on the Dior charm right here, which causes the charm metals to all kind of clank together and rub together quite a bit, and this is just like shaking all around because it's on your shoulder and you're walking back and forth. So generally I do feel like if you compare this charm with some of my friends like Lady Dior's or something like that, there's a little bit more wear on the hardware of the charm, so there's a little bit more scratches from the letters banging against each other. Also, this charm does kind of wear a little bit on the back portion of this hardware as well. So again, another thing to consider, and I think it's really important for the djoy especially to wrap the front handle at least in a twilly, because like I said, if this handle was bare, that's kind of exposing again that bare lambskin to the hardware of the charm, and we know that the hardware will then discolor the lambskin anytime it touches it. So I use a twilly to particularly protect the front handle of my bag against any discoloration from the charm here. So as you can see, there's a lot more kind of problems that you might have to think about for the djoy. They're not necessarily problems because all of them have kind of mitigation strategies, but if you want a more carefree bag, then definitely getting the djoy in just a darker color is going to pretty much get rid of all these problems. I have reached out to Dior corporate and asked about that kind of discoloration because it happened not just on my djoy but also on my Miss Mini. In the very front portion it has like a little dangling charm, and that charm, when it runs back and forth my beige lambskin, it has also discolored it a little bit. But both time and time again, they just insist that that's just how the bag wears and they're not going to necessarily do anything to fix it. Of course, you can send all your Dior bags for a spa if you're really that concerned about it. But again, I think as long as you have like leather lotion on hand, it's not that big of a deal. So what is my final recommendation? I want to start off by saying that I absolutely love both of these bags. They both have their place and purpose in my collection. The classic Chanel flap is such an elegant and timeless piece that will never go out of style. And the small djoy is a cute and trendy twist on Dior's classic Lady Dior bag. Both are priced at $4,900 and they both are essentially the same size, so it really comes down to how you want to incorporate this bag into your life. If you're all about timeless classics and you mainly wear your bags shoulder or crossbody, then the Chanel mini flap might be more suitable for you, whereas if you want a little bit more of a cutesy bag with a little bit more of a casual feel, then the small Lady djoy might be for you. Chanel bags do tend to hold their value better than Dior bags do, but the versatility of the three-way wear that the djoy provides is something that's quite unique, and I think it's pretty hard to find in other bags and brands. Personally, if I was going to choose only one black bag, I would definitely have to go with the djoy. I personally love carrying my bag's top handle and just generally having the option to wear my bag whichever way I want. With the two-strap option and handles, Dior has made it really easy for me to be able to wear the bag whichever way I want, and honestly, each strap gives the bag a really unique vibe. The bag can be easily dressed up or dressed down, whereas personally, I kind of view my mini flap from Chanel a little bit more of an evening bag. However, it is to note that color really matters when selecting your djoy because lighter color leathers will start to show discoloration from the hardware quite quickly. All in all though, they're two really great bags, and whichever choice you make, it's gonna be a good one. Well, that brings me to a wrap on my comparison of the Chanel mini flap with the small djoy from Dior. Please let me know down in the comments which you think is the better mini bag. I would absolutely love to know which one kind of wins in the battle between the two. If you have any questions or comments on either of these bags, definitely let me know, or if you have questions about any of the N Boutique base shapers, I'm more than happy to answer them. As always, thank you guys so much for watching. I'll definitely see you in the next one. Bye!